Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today I'm going to talk to you about the West Kingdom trilogies, and I'll be ranking them from 3 down to 1 on what I believe is to be the best in this, the second trilogy by Garphill Games, by Shem Phillips and S.J. McDonald. That's Sam McDonald. So firstly about this series, Sam, who's the bandmate of Shem, came up with this idea for Architects, and then through the brilliance of, I guess, his knowledge of board gaming, in addition to playing with Shem, Shem basically was able to work with Sam. I don't know to what percent we're talking here, 60-40, whatever it was. Come up with the idea, come up with the same size boxes, using the same fantastic artist to come up with these 3 games. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to tell you right off the bat that my rating for this is pretty much an 8 across the board. This is very difficult for me to split out and say which one was either my favourite or anything like that, but I will be talking to you a little bit about what I like about them and maybe some criticisms. These aren't criticisms that I think would ever put me off the games playing them, for example, but it does let you know something around what might work for you. So something which I wasn't necessarily going to do is actually talk about the artwork on the box. Now, I do actually like Paladins the best. I don't know why. It's just this knight seems to stand out quite strongly. Maybe there's some symmetry going there. Obviously, that war theme looks quite good. As interesting as this is, obviously, this guy looks quite devious. Of course, we do like the fact is architecture and, of course, building something down here. And over here, we've just got something going on here, of course, and other kind of towns and places like that. And of course, in Viscounts, you do visit towns. Of course, you are an architect, amongst other things. And as a paladin, well, you're one of the 12 peers of Charlemagne in the 12th century, if I pronounced that correctly, and the chief of which is Palatine. So hence the name of the game. All the boxes are completely rammed full of stuff, so there's no difference there. And if you checked out the other videos, you'll know how much they each weigh. Now, there is a change in the game duration amongst all of them. As you can see, this is rammed to the gills. And this one is Architects is the shortest of the lot. If you go for the Architect track, it's like a race, and it's been as short as 40 minutes to play in a high player count, such as a 4 or 5. Paladins can take quite a long time as a 4 or 5. We're talking maybe 3 and a bit hours. And Viscounts has a lower play time, and particularly as like a 2, we're talking under an hour. It's a swift turn, but there isn't so much interaction, I would say, compared to the other ones. The only way you're interacting with people is to basically block people. So what I'm going to do is flip over the box and talk to you actually a little bit about the story. So basically the history of these. So it starts in the year around 850, and basically Architects West Kingdom is set to the end of the Carolingian Empire, if that's pronounced correctly. As royal architects, players compete to impress their kings and maintain their noble status by constructing various landmarks throughout their newly appointed domain. I'm saying there instead of his because, let's say, things were of a different time if we were to reset history. Players will need to collect raw materials, hire apprentices, keep a watchful eye on their workforce. These are treacherous times. Rival architects will stop at nothing to slow your progress. Will you remain virtuous or be found in the company of thieves and black marketeers? Now, all these games have an element of worker placement, Viscounts less so, and out of interest, in terms of workers, we have 100. You have one central player board, and then you have small other boards as well. Moving on to Paladins, it's now set around the 920 AD, so in fact 900. So Paladins of the West Kingdom is set at a turbulent time of West Francia's story, circa 1900 AD. 900 AD. Despite recent efforts to develop the city, outlying townships are still under threat from outsiders. Saracens scout the borders while Vikings plunder wealth and livestock. Even the Byzantines from the east have shown their darker side. As noblemen and women, players must gather workers from the city to defend against enemies, build fortifications, and spread faith throughout the land. Fortunately, you're not alone. In his great wisdom, the king has sent his finest knights to help aid in our efforts. So ready your horses and sharpen the swords. The Paladins are approaching. In this occasion, we've got 112 workers. At this moment, let's just talk about the playtime. So it does actually go up from 60 to 80 to 90 to 120. Yeah, the first time I played it was around 80 minutes, 1 to 5. This is 1 to 4. I won't be talking about a solo mode for these ones specifically. This is just about the multiplayer mode. On to Viscounts, which again is another soloable game, 1 to 4, and this is the middling of the playtime, 60 to 90. Viscounts of the West Kingdom is set at a time when the king began to decline, circa 980 AD. Choosing peace over prosperity, our once strong king began offering our enemies golden land to lay down their axes. But peace is a tenuous affair. As poverty spread, many people lost faith in his ability to lead and sought independence from the crown. Since finding favour in his courts, our future has become uncertain. As Viscounts must be wise and decisive. Loyalty is to be upheld, but gaining favour amongst the people must be our priority should there be a sudden shift in power. In this case, we've gone from 112 workers down to 80. So talking about, again, various player boards, there is less of an impact of having a player board here. You have a larger central board, and it is quite large. This is quite large too once it's all set out. The difference with this one is your player board is a bit like Scythe. It's a small player board, and you're literally taking a piece off to activate something. So, shortly, I'm going to talk to you now of how I rank them and what I think about them overall. I haven't played the Tomb Saga yet, which basically creates a bit of a narrative, a campaign across all of them. Same lovely card sizes throughout, and you have debt as well, and prosperity, particularly debt, across them all as well. And that theme works well. Again, this is a longer play time, so that might be something, at least in my experience of what I'm experiencing, it does match up very well with these play times too as well. That might be something you want to work for. So now I'm going to talk to you as an overview on how I rank them. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you will all be aware that these two have already featured in my top 100 games of all time. And even though I give them 8 out of 10, this one was around 49, this was around 99, and that was last year. So we might well see if that changes. Please check out my playlist on my top 250 games of all time. That's based on, it's now over 1,700 different games ranked. Again, please like and subscribe and hit that comments bar. Of course, I reply very quickly, and check out descriptions for anything I might have missed off or accidentally stated or something like that. And lastly, again, please share, and I look forward to seeing what you think. Okay, so what I think is this game here is wondrous and mighty. This is basically quoting myself from Board Game Geek on their website when I've listed my ratings for this game. There is some downtime on some rounds, and it can feel a little too long. I thought I was doing well, but really you just need to be high on those vertical tracks. So out of my opinion, I think due to the play time, I kind of get more out of the other two games than this one. That's not a negative. I love the fact that there's this castle track, and again, there'll be a video for this game as well. In a way, this looks the best. I mean, this looks great. This looks the best. The reason I don't mind this one is it's fine. You're going around and having people on it, but it's just the landscape, I think, just pops more on this one. So that's, for me, it has this look, but it's my third favourite game in the series. Okay, on to the second favourite game. The next one is a game that it feels to play quickly, and it does have gold. Oh, I knew I'd do that again. This is a new tripod. So the reason why this isn't at number 2 is there isn't too much interaction, and I like the fact that you're moving the Viscount around and doing stuff. It's Rondelli-like. You can block other players, which even as a 2 does happen. Less interaction in the castle at lower player counts. It's nice to build up and get different things. But what's less enjoyable, shall we say, is whilst you can get ink pots to get your manuscripts and stuff, you're not exactly hindered, but you feel that there's no one route of strategy to win. You've got to get points everywhere. And that's not a negative. It's just whatever you do, you're going to go, right, well, I can get something here. I'm going to do it. So it keeps your turns fresh and swift, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's fully engaging. It's nice the way that you're focusing on whether you need to go for deeds or debts and stuff like that. And it's relatively easy to handle and playing out cards in a certain way. So moving on to Architects. Now, Stone Age was pretty much, a predecessor. Lots of people say to this game. I do rank Stone Age higher. Now, in a way, there are fewer paths to victory in Stone Age. There's really only kind of 3-step strategies there, maybe. One of them being like going for the axes, maybe the people strategy, etc. Maybe going for those cards. But Architects, again, the first time I played it, I did okay. But then the person who went for the Architect track. I happened to go for the Architect track the second game and won it. And again, by going for that route, it's an end game trigger. But what's great about this game is it's kind of a one-round game because everybody keeps playing and playing and playing and playing and playing, and there's no kind of reset at the end of the round, unlike, say, Paladins, which is over, say, 7 rounds. So it's very swift and smooth. You're placing something and getting it. You could be thieving and getting stuff back too. It's probably the quickest of the games, especially at higher player counts as well. So I think you might enjoy that too. And again, there's more interaction, thinking, oh, is someone going to second guess me and do something to me like that? So if someone they think's in the lead, then that works well for you. So that has been the ranking of these games. I haven't talked about the Tomb Saga yet, and obviously the solo variants in these games as well. But hopefully found that of interest and lets you think about, to be honest, probably they look so nice going for all of them. And obviously they are nice, and people do like the size of these boxes. They're not Ticket to Ride size, but everything is crammed in. So just be aware of that. You need to probably watch my unboxing videos in reverse to kind of see how you put everything away. And as you can see, it's a bit tricky to get them all in shot as well. Well, hope again you found that of interest, and let me know in the comments. Thanks. Bye for now.